All right. Well, the discussion today has been a lot about the CUP meeting, the Conditional Use Permit meeting. The final night is next Thursday. It's going to start about 7 o'clock. Berry Acres. You take the first Odessa exit, get off the highway, turn left, go across the bridge. It's about a quarter mile up on the left-hand side. You can't miss it. You'll see the signs there. You just pull in there, go in the side door. Plenty of seats in there. Need a big turnout, folks. Coming up next week because there's a lot of opposition, and we know there's more people that want this racetrack than don't. So we need you there for sure next Thursday. And we thought we'd bring the owner of I-70 Motorsports Park on the show this morning. Chris Payne joins us now. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right.
Great.
We played some sound bites from the meeting this Thursday, and I love the comments from the city administrator that got up and spoke for the mayor. I thought that was a positive note, wasn't it?
I agree. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Chris, let me ask you, because Kirk and I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, and to me, Kirk seems to think that everybody should be prepared for all these studies, but to me, it seems like they're a little top-heavy on the studies. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's hard to create a study for something that doesn't exist. One. Mm-hmm. So when they talk about a noise study, well, we can go out there and do a noise study, but there's only noise you're going to hear is I-70.
Right.
That's it. So how can you do a noise study if there's no noise? Two, so you would take something comparable, and any study you present, you could probably pick it apart. You could probably say, well, that doesn't have trees. This has trees located around it. That's a different type of racing or different elevation. There's a point where you've got to take what's available. You can't create something that's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah, that's
go
good.
ahead,
Chris, this is Kirk. We really appreciate you coming on. Just when you entered into this development, are you surprised by anything that's transpired so far? The conditional use permit
process
and the whole process involved here. Anything that has surprised you so far since you purchased the property?
We've been working with the county for about 6 months on reopening I-70. And just as of late, the county administration in Lexington has increasingly made the process difficult. And as of late, brought in a consultant, as most people have seen, who's tried very hard to derail or make the situation progress of this track much more difficult. Some of the reports that they're now talking about, they've never mentioned before. Some I've never even heard of. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure why they are trying to make the process so much more difficult as of late, but it seems like they're trying to persuade the commissioners to not vote for it, and I certainly hope the commissioners will be persuaded and make the right decision.
And this is the gentleman that stands up and is recognized as staff, correct?
Correct. He's speaking for the staff. We've never met him until previous meeting. He's new to the game, but it seems like his intentions are to really make it difficult. And I hesitate to say if he has alternatives, but for much on the facility, would be considered a consultant, but it didn't engaging the county administration did.
In fact, I thought he took it a little too far with his own personal opinion towards the end of the other night.
Certainly, we all have opinions.
But his job is
facts are the facts.
Yeah, but his has to be based on facts, not his opinion, right? I mean, his opinion at the end, when all the facts are gathered, is valued because that's what they want. His opinion at the end, but to voice his opinion during the process, I don't know. It just felt a little awkward with the way he handled that at the end of the other night.
Well, he may have a personal agenda that we're not aware of either.
Mm-hmm.
Is there I'm unsure how the politics work in Lafayette County. Is there a county or a county board of supervisors above this Planning and Economic Development Commission that is having influence on what's happening here, or is there somebody on the Planning Commission that is holding sway over the rest of the members to bring in this person to make things more difficult?
And does he have the final? Who makes the final decision in the end? I guess.
Are you asking me? Because at this point in time, I'm not exactly sure.
Wow, that's sad. Really, we should know that. You should know who you're fighting the battle with, right?
Correct. And there may be somebody behind the scenes that none of us would be aware of. But you brought it up early before I started speaking. The mass obviously wants the facility. Yeah. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to reopen what many people consider a landmark to the area. This isn't a new concept.
Right.
It's nothing that's shocking. There's nothing that's changing. The only thing that's changing, if there's any change, it's improving. We're talking state of the art for the most part of lighting facilities, concessions to sewer system. We're not using anything that was currently there as far as the infrastructure,
right?
So, which eliminates a lot of questions and concerns.
Yeah, no, I and my problem is with some of the people that got up that were opposed to it. They tried to act like they had their facts together, but they really didn't. It's just like the gentleman that stood up and said Valley was closed because of the noise. Well, it wasn't closed because of the noise. It was closed because it didn't do what it was supposed to with their CUP itself. They were supposed to do a study every month for sound. It wasn't the sound study that closed him down. It was him not doing the sound study is what closed him down. So, so that wasn't a fact that he said. That wasn't the truth, right? The gentleman that said, only Quick Trip or only the McDonald's or the fast food restaurants in Odessa were the only ones that would benefit from staying open. Well, I travel enough. I know that there's certain communities, when the racetrack's open, they keep their restaurants and stores open later to appease those fans that need a place to go to afterwards. So I think there's incentive for the people of Odessa to keep their businesses open once that racetrack comes back and comes back to life. Because I know a lot of people drive right down the road because there wasn't anything open in Odessa, and they would go to Oak Grove and spend all their money at the truck stops and every place to eat there, and Quick Trip to get their fuel and whatnot. So I know that Odessa could reel those people right in there if they need to, or Higginsville or the surrounding communities. So that in itself was, another thing that I thought was I thought it was funny, that they would think that, people aren't smart enough to think for themselves and keep their businesses open so they can do better.
Well, yeah, that was somebody's statement. I think the people of Odessa are certainly smart enough to know if they have people's hand at the door, they're not going to close the door. Right. The reason they would be closed is there is nobody standing there. Right. The community as a whole of Odessa is been great to work with. Not just the administration there, but the residents there. So you give them traffic, and they will welcome it. I truly believe.
And one thing I want to bring up, too, is the people that are concerned that live down towards the end of the drag strip. Now, I know Chris Payne, and I know you've been in this business long enough to know that there's no way in hell that there's a car going to come out of your property, out of your facility, and endanger anybody outside of your property line, because I know that you're going to put sand pits, you're going to do everything to keep cars, if they were to have a problem, inside the property of I-70 Motorsports Park, correct?
Well, without a doubt. I mean, for one, there's almost 300 acres there. For a car let's keep in mind these cars may be going at maximum, the fastest car in the 150, 60s range. That's just a few of the faster cars. Mm-hmm. To go outside 300 acres, past the sand trap, past the net, through the field, and continue on to somebody else's property, most unlikely, particularly when you're governed by insurance companies that are going to have safety nets, and I use that word as a whole, as a figure of speech. Mm-hmm. Precautions. You have an area that's going to enforce safety precautions.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to come airborne and grow wings to be able to get to their property. That's not going to happen.
That's my point too. Yeah, for sure. And one other thing I want to say, the guys that talk about property value around there. Now, I don't know if my property was sitting next to I-70 and it was just rotting away the way it has been for the last 10 years. I think that would bring down my property value. And another thing, from 1969 till when that track closed in 2007, I'm pretty sure the property value went up during those years.
I would have to agree. At the properties around it now, they're nice without a doubt, and they're not going to look any different if I-70 is there, other than their neighbor I-70 is going to look much better. Mm-hmm. I got to think I-70's been an eyesore to them. One gentleman brought up KCIR and the property values around there. Well, KCIR has been closed for 7 years.
What have they done down there?
The property values have gone down since KCIR left. So another fact that not exactly correct, but
yeah.
Hey, Chris, what is the process from here on out? I know there's another meeting coming up next Thursday night to get this conditional use permit approved. What is the process moving forward for you, and what can fans do to help?
Well, we're hopefully this will be the last and final meeting for the approval for this stage, and then it would go to a variance BZ board. They would approve some of the variances that they've enforced on us. The current sign that's set there along the highway for 50 years, good example. We have to get a variance for it because it sets
too close.
Sets within, yes, that's too close. The setback line now is further back, and instead of grandfathering it in, we've got to go ask for a variance.
So it needs to be back 200 feet, correct? Isn't that
that is correct.
Yeah.
As the statute stands or is written now. Minor details, really, but this is the big hurdle. This is the approval to move forward and to get this thing going.
Yeah.
And would you suggest fans show up to offer support to help get the planning board to approve this? What should happen as far as fans are concerned with this meeting coming up?
What would you like to tell the fans, and what do you need from them?
What I want and what fans are more than welcome to come out. I would love to see supporters out there. They obviously, like everybody, need to be well behaved. In fact, they will probably be more well behaved than the opposition is, but they're more than welcome to come out there. If they'd like to, I'd say come closer to 6. The meeting starts at 7 early. If you're going to make a statement and I don't mean publicly in the hearing, but to represent and support, you'd want to get there prior, not as it starts, because then it's almost too late then. Mm-hmm. So 6 o'clock, if people would like to come out and hopefully it gets approved, and I'll buy everybody a beer.
Buy everybody a beer afterwards.
And in the meantime, construction continues. You've already done a lot of work out there. What's the timeline, and when do you see, if everything gets approved in a timely fashion here, when you can first have your opening events at the facility?
Well, we haven't done. What we've been doing is just cleanup work. You're talking about a facility that's been closed for 10 years. We hauled off, I don't know, close to 10 semis of old tires. We've been cleaning up old barrels, doing some excavation work that need to be done. There was an old dirt track, as most people are familiar, in the back that was removed. So really no construction started. We're waiting for this approval, and then the construction starts. We will certainly go as fast as we can, weather permitting. We had races slated to start. First sprint car race on May 18th. That's been rescheduled to the end of our schedule. So we're hoping to make our first ASCS race on June 15th. And that would be our grand opening. Now, weather permitting, we'll make it. If not, we'll probably rotate it back, and then the next one will be July 13th.
Chris, I forgot to ask you when we were out there that one morning we met, how wide are those corners going to be? They look like they're going to be 90 feet wide.
They're going to be pretty wide, wide enough that if somebody gets run off the track, they're not going to get clobbered. They'll be up out of the way.
Yeah. And you're planning on shelving that off at the top, and then the wall will be up there, right?
Correct. We're planning the final plan should everything be on one elevation where people could actually back up all the way around the track. The south pits would be above grade versus where it used to be down below grade. So if you're pitting outside or, and not inside, you'd still be looking down, giving it everybody's going to have a line of sight to the race that's going on.
Right. But the sprint cars, when they're there, they're going to be in the infield. We're looking at video of it right now, so they'll be in the infield, though, right?
Yes, they'll be able. We actually plan to lower it down about 5 feet so the tractor trailers, the semis can pull down in there, and people can, their view won't be obstructed. They'll still be able to see.
And am I correct? Are you going to leave up the pit wall down the front straightaway?
I think at this time now.
Can I weigh in? Can I weigh in on that opinion?
Sure, and that's how we're basing a lot of decisions. It's a group decision. I'm not a one-man show by no means.
I would say take it out, and the only reason I say take it out is, and I love that wall. It's a piece of history, right? I hate to see it go, but sprint cars and concrete walls, it's a bad combination. Especially unless you put a fence on it to where a car can't come down with its roll cage on that. I say get rid of it, because we've seen too many people get severely injured in sprint cars because the roll cage comes down on that wall, and that's where we have a lot of problems in our industry. So concrete walls without a fence on them is a bad thing for sprint cars.
Well, I would have to agree with your point. So, but well taken. So
the drag strip. How quickly do you think you could get that constructed and have drag racing on the new?
You think that could happen this year, drag racing?
That would be our goal. Mother Nature dictates most of outdoor work, so that would certainly be our goal as this process that we previously discussed stalls out or lingers or drags on, call it what you like. So does all the work behind it. So it just, keep our fingers crossed and hope this process speeds up a little faster. Hope Mother Nature works with us, and we'll have a drag strip this year.
Man, that would be great.
A question about Heartland Motorsports Park, just what's going on over there right now. We had Larry Dixon on here a few weeks ago talking about the Nationals coming up. You moved it to June this year, which I think that's a very good call. So too. Just what's going on over in Topeka right now?
Well, it took us 3 years to move out of May, the rainy month of May, into a much drier month, June. The Menards NH3 Heartland event. Tickets are on sale at nh.com. Increase the tickets day one. We have to directly relate to the drier, and the ticket sales have remained way above previous years, so maybe they'll out this year. Our fingers are crossed.
Yeah. A person on our chat room, John, he asked, are you going to run midget slate models and modifieds out at the dirt track too at some point?
I think at some point, without a doubt. Yeah, I think we'd like to incorporate one big show, ideally a Friday, Saturday event. People are going to travel. We think they'd like to travel for a 2-day event. Or if they can't make a Friday, they can make a Saturday event. Either way, we'll be available for them.
And I hate to ask you this question, but I got to. Do you think you're going to get things worked out with the city of Topeka up there?
Well, it's not the city of Topeka. City of Topeka is wonderful to work with. They are
state of Kansas.
State of Kansas.
No.
The county.
Johnny County.
The county.
Johnny County.
Okay.
Yep. Another county.
I'm sorry. So I didn't properly say.
It's the county you're having an issue with over there.
Correct. County, as a rule, always assess tax.
Right.
Without a doubt. So everybody else behind, the county leads that tax assessment. My problem specifically is with the appraiser's office, and not necessarily Shawnee County, but that is a division of Shawnee County. They've seemingly overstepped their boundaries and appraised a property over 4 times of what it was purchased for. It's tough to swallow $1,000 a day property tax bill.
Yeah.
And that's what it is for a 30-year-old facility, open 6 months a year. It's as of now, it's almost $1,000 a day. Man,
oh man! Does your gut tell you think they'll work with you in the end, or what's your gut tell you right now?
Well, I guess I have to be cautious of what I say.
Sure.
There's some litigation that's going to occur.
Right.
I think it'll prevail. If somebody isn't above table in making decisions or implementing something, if it's exposed, then surely the truth would come out and things would get resolved.
Yeah. Well, I got to believe that it's going to work out.
Let's hope so. That's a great facility over there. And you
We'd
put a
hate to
lot
see
of money into that. Congratulations to you for the
capital improvements,
the investment that you've already made in that facility. It's been remarkable.
Well, and the county has tried to defend their assessed value, and they have not done a good job of doing it. They keep saying that we've done improvements. There's no new buildings out there.
No.
There's no extensions of existing buildings.
You just brought it back to life.
Deferred maintenance, like a lot of properties that go under. There's a lot of deferred maintenance needs to be done. That we've certainly spent millions of dollars just trying to keep it up and running and make it look like it used to look and present it well. And but that doesn't mean that it's worth 4 times more than I paid. But
yeah, right. Hey, did I hear correct? Your attorney say that you sell Columbus?
We sold part of it to a great operator.
Oh, okay.
That's a great track up there, and it's successful. And it's tough to operate it from 10 hours away. We brought in a very seasoned track owner operator, and he lives there, relocated there, is there every day, and that's what that track needs to take it to a whole nother level.
Good.
We were blessed to get the JAG Sports Nationals moved there, and so we got to live up to that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Chris, I'm going to open the mic up for you for the final words to tell everybody that's out there listening. We got a nice listening audience this morning. I know a lot of people are passionate about I-70 and the drag strip for that matter. I think equally as much about the drag strip as they are about the dirt track, to be honest with you. Yeah. I'll just leave the mic open to you. Tell the fans out there what you want out of them, and if there's anything you can say to them, what would you say to them now?
Well, it's not about one person. It's not about me. It's about the sport of racing, and whether that be sprint car racing, stock car racing, drag racing, it is about racing, and everybody's support now to getting it reopened till after it's reopened is appreciated. It's about the sport, like I said, and you guys yourself do a wonderful job supporting it every week, almost actually every day, and so I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Chris, and listen, we're here, we would love nothing more to see that complex open up. With one thing I wanted to add, when they were talking about Valley Speedway, they forget Valley Speedway has a drag strip and a motocross track. Yeah. So it's not like that this isn't being done nearby, right? I mean, they're able to work with their community. Why can't you guys work with yours? And I know you will. All right, Chris, thanks so much, buddy. We'll be over there. One of us will be over there on Thursday, and we hope that everything goes the way you want and we can move forward. Okay.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
There you go. There you have it, the owner of I-70 Motorsports Park, Chris Payne. We'll put that interview, Todd. We'll take that and put that up on YouTube for everybody to watch.
Will do.
Yeah,
so everybody can.
There. That was a great interview.
It was good stuff.
Yeah,
right
just
there. I think you kind of get a feel where he's at.
Absolutely.